funny if it didn't. All right, we're live.
Cool. Awesome. Well, morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan with the Chamber. Many familiar faces. We've got Nicole, Bob, and Sonzi with us today. So we're here to help. If you need anything, have any questions, I think you found the refreshments on your way in, but we've got some coffee, water, donuts, and pastries. Restrooms right around the corner. You know, our workshops, we kind of like to have a pretty relaxed environment and more conversational, certainly. So don't be afraid if you do need to get up, you know, or whatever. But we're very excited today to cover a very important topic for local business, right? Talking about inventory and, you know, talking with John, one of our presenters, a little bit earlier, and certainly talking with the staff as we were planning it. I think inventory can mean a lot of different things depending on what your business is, right? Inventory can also be the things you need on hand that you're selling, or in Melissa's case or many other cases, it could be the thing you're creating and then selling, you know, wholesaling, right? And other businesses are selling. So I think there's a lot of different angles, but today is definitely like, you know, inventory 101, I think kind of base level, get the conversation going. And then if you have questions as we're presenting, I think we'll have a conversation, right? Like those are the questions you have are going to be specific to your business. So thanks for being here. I want to thank John Davis from Ashville General Store. John is also on the Chamber Board. So thank you, John, for your time there. And Melissa Baideme from CK Natural Fruit Juice. So Melissa, I think, is going to kick us off, right?
Sure. I will.
And like I said, we'll, you know, I think we'll get a feel for it, but we're happy to be conversational. And just as a heads up, like the pop-up in a Zoom meeting, we are recording the session today. So if for whatever reason you don't want to be recorded, you can exit the Zoom meeting now.
Can I exit?
Too late, you're already on camera. All right, everybody's still here. That's good. So I will kick it right over to Melissa.
Hey, awesome. Well, thanks, you guys. So I own CK Natural Fruit Juice. You can go to the next one. This is about inventory management. So just a quick overview about my business. I'm a food and beverage manufacturer in Westfield. Right now, my current products are Concord grape, tart cherry concentrates. We have Niagara and Catawba concentrates. We do a Concord grape vinaigrette. I'm actually in the process of moving into a new facility. We're at the final stages now, so I'm very excited. Revamping an entire building so I can do salsas, pasta sauces, baked goods, and everything I do is at a wholesale level. I ship nationwide. And then the purpose of what I'm here for is to just share how effective inventory management we can help scale and operations being more efficient. So here I am. Okay, so why inventory management matters. One of the biggest thing is inventory equals cash on the shelf. So at any given time, I can have anywhere from $5,000 to about $30,000 worth of inventory just sitting there. And so managing that as efficiently as you can, because you need a good cash flow. You never want your inventory being too low and having a customer call you up and say, oh, I need you to, you know, bottle, I don't know, 10,000 or 20,000 little 8-ounce bottles or something for me. Can you have this done? Like pretty much, you know, or when's a timeline? So I want to make sure I have enough bottles, supplies in, ingredients in for the Concord grape vinaigrette. I obviously don't want too much because we don't want overstocking because I only have so much room. I'm very limited where I'm at right now, which creates challenges because sometimes I would like to have a little bit extra for certain things and I can't. So it's constantly keeping track of what you have in your inventory. And obviously if you have shortages, that's not good either because now you're scrambling and things can get chaotic and hectic when we're trying to do large batches at a time. Increase. Okay, so increases organization, predictability, and operational flow. And then the last thing, it's about we support sustainable growth and better financial control. So that's a really key thing. Like obviously I want to keep growing, but you got to do it financially responsible as we're scaling up here. All right, so the next slide. So CK Naturals inventory. So some of the challenges. So agricultural dependency, bad weather can affect Concord grape availability. So last year, Mother Nature did not like us at all. And we unfortunately had a very late frost. So when the grapes come out, there's 3 different blooms to a grape. There's the first bloom, second bloom, then the tertiary bloom. And unfortunately, a frost affected the first and the second bloom. And we usually can process about 30,000 tons of grapes, which gets about 4 million gallons of grape juice. We only got about 16,000 tons. So how do we supply everyone for the year? There was a lot of challenges with that. This year, thankfully, we're back to the normal amount, so we will be fine. I actually ran out of concentrate in mid-September. We bottled last year about 2,700 gallons. I only had enough for 1,000 gallons. This month, obviously, I'm at 0. So where do I get my money from? I just hope for, other months that will, have that flow go over. So in last year, we did close to 2,000 gallons. So guess what that means for November? We have about 5,000 gallons to bottle. Plus, we, are gaining new customers. So how do I make 5,000 gallons work in a month? And how do we bottle it when I've never bottled more than 4,000? So it might carry over into December, but we are going to work extra hard and try to get it out the best we can. The next thing is cold storage limitations for our concentrates and raw materials. We are very limited with cold storage. It costs a lot of money to keep things cool or cold. So how do we manage that and keep that flow going? So when I have orders going out or when we're bottling, running production, I schedule shipments. Like I know when production is going to end for this. So we try to keep that flow, pallets going out the door while we're putting new pallets in the cooler. And since I'm running space from Growers Co-op right now, they have to keep their stuff in the cooler as well. So the most pallets I ever had was 26 pallets at one time. And thankfully the cooler was pretty open so I could fit it in there, but I've had times where I've had to keep it outside of the cooler. We try to do the best we can with finishing up that order to get it out the door as quick as possible. The other thing with inventory challenges is complex product mixes. How much do we have on hand? How do we keep that organized? And then the last thing really is my facility transition right now, going to a new organization system. So it's very hectic. I'm in 3 places at any given time because of me moving from the building, my office to the new building. It's all over the place. So I can't wait to get moved in one place to make it more organized. So that's another huge challenge. Next thing is our system and tools. So what do I use to try to stay organized? QuickBooks, Excel, manual counts, and organized shelving. Most people use QuickBooks or Excel. When we do inventory, we don't do any high-end like coding or traceability yet. I would like to do that in the future, but obviously as you scale up, anything you do more costs more money. So right now we try to do things as financially as responsible as possible. So we're not spending too much money. Then we track raw materials, packaging, and finished goods. We have a system for that. And then implementing the first in, first out for freshness. So in the food world, obviously you always want to be checking labels and dates on things because when we package things, we'll have pallets of all of our packaged products, everything stamped, dated, coded, what lot number it came from, what tank it came from. And so when it's going out the door and we make a new batch, we can take the older product, move it to the front and just keep going. It's kind of like in a grocery store. And then the next step, adding a lot coding and traceability for food safety compliance. So I'd like to add more and more as I keep growing. Next slide. So managing supply chain relationships. So that's very important. You obviously want to have a good relationship with who you're partnering with. Growers Co-op is my largest partner. That's where I get all my concentrates from. They are the processing plant. So I rent space from them. We have a very good relationship. I've been there for over 4 years. This is my last year of being there. Then I will be moved out on my own, but I will still continue that really good relationship. I'm actually also part of the Growers Co-op family. We're a grape farmer as well. So it's very nice to have that connection with them. Shop large distributors for best ingredient prices. So there are other places that I go to get ingredients nationwide. Since I am a wholesaler, I have to work off of pennies. How can I produce something at the cheapest cost possible so I can sell it at a wholesale price? Because my business is based around quantity. Get that quantity out the door. That's where I'm making my money. Yes, I want a quality product. I want to be all natural or as natural as I can be. But I am shipping nationwide, and I'm actually starting to ship to Japan right now. So I'm trying to ship quantities out the door. And, and then also managing, so forecasting demand based on orders and seasonality. That is something I hate doing. It's like the worst thing possible. Like, how can you just assume or forecast? I mean, yes, during this season, this is our busiest season, but I never know how much. I'm projecting 5,000 gallons next month, but it could be 6,000. So now what do I tell growers? I need another 1,000 gallons of concentrate, and they have tons of orders too. So I always try to over project, because if I go over, it can carry into the next month. I try the best I can. There's been times I've been under, and I'm like, I'm really sorry. I need more. Like, you got to get me more. So that's something I hate doing, but it's just part of the name of the game. And then last is build reliable supplier communication. I do like to, when I reach out to my suppliers, I like to be able to know who I'm talking to on the other end. It's nice to know that person. You have a good connection with them. It makes it much smoother when I'm doing my ordering. But there are times where I work with some very large companies. I literally order online, and that's just what I got to do. So that's the change supply. So next is inventory and action. So for example, like Feedmore, Western New York, I supply them full truckloads at a time. And it requires very precise coordination. Like I was talking earlier, they'll take 26 pallets at a time. How do I manage that while we are producing, wrapping pallets, getting them put either in a cooler or in a location where no one's going to smash into them, because there's forklifts at growers, people driving around. I want to keep it in a safe place where it's not getting too warm. It doesn't matter if it gets frozen, it will never fully freeze, so we're lucky for that during the winter months. It's a lot of work coordinating now that I'm scaling up and working with larger organizations, getting more out the door. Tracking bottles, packaging, concentrate for production runs. We track all of that, how much we have in inventory. I always try to keep, I never like to go below usually $5,000 in inventory, just to have enough on hand. So it's important to track all that, to know what we have available. And then organize by product size and type for efficiency. So when we're bottling, I have two different methods, two different types of bottling lines we work with. And one, we will do 8-ounce bottles and quart bottles. So when we're running an 8-ounce production run, if I need quart bottles, we're going to put that in the production line with it, even though I might not need them till later that month. But if I'm not using the line for the 8-ounce bottles, let's get it done. It's efficient. It's not going to spoil it. It's last a year, the product. And then when I do larger bottling, we will go the other road, the other method for it. It just makes that production run much smoother. And then last, just kind of a visual flow. In very, very simple terms, we start with the raw material. We go to the production, then we go bottling it, storage, and then distribution. And then lessons learned and growth mindset. So my mindset starting out was you start simple, scale gradually. When I started my business, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I've taken a very long path, a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of talking with other business owners, learning about scaling up gradually, but how do you do it very simple? There is a way, it just takes a lot of hours of research. Documentation builds accountability. That's very important. We obviously want to make sure I document everything, I'm researching everything. You've got to hold yourself accountable if you want to keep growing, and just keep pushing yourself forward. Anticipate needs before expansion. So plan your systems and space before you grow. When I moving into my new building, I actually was only going to use a small portion of it at first. And I said, okay, let me go back to the drawing board. Let me look at the bigger picture and what is my end goal of what I want to do with my business. I sat down, I mapped it all out. Yes, I did have a business plan, but it wasn't scaled up to the level where I thought it was going to be. And then I started scaling up more, and I said, whoa, I need to revamp this all. So now I'm using my entire building, and I'm glad the way I have it structured, because I'm already worried I'm going to grow out of my building. But for now, how my plan is going to work. So you have to always make sure you are planning ahead as you grow, and always give yourself more room than you think. You don't want to go too far because now you're going to financially drown yourself. And where is that fine line? I don't know. Only you can decide, and only you can make that decision yourself. And then it's a continuous learning for each production cycle. Anytime we run production, anytime I do anything, I literally learn something new every time. And you have to be open to learning something new, or you're never going to grow. Oh, and then lastly, there was a quote. So I found this quote by Peter Drucker. You can't manage what you don't measure. So for me, like looking into that quote, it's important because it's true in every part of my business. You can't manage what you don't measure. If you don't know your numbers, how much product packaging or ingredients you have, you can't make good decisions. So once I started tracking everything and started just diving into learning more, I saw where I could save money, reduce waste, and plan production more efficiently. So I never really read about Peter Drucker much, but I read a little bit about him. I said, oh, he had some really good ideas, or just some quotes and stuff. So I thought I'd use it for that. And then lastly, looking ahead, so new facility equals new opportunities for efficiency. So I'm very happy I'm moving forward. I want to scale up. I want to do more for our community. I want to do more for my family. I'm excited for these new opportunities. I'm going to add barcoding and digital traceability, strengthening supply chain visibility for co-packing and exporting, and goals streamline data-driven inventory management for long-term growth. And another little quote: efficient inventory isn't just what's in stock; it's about building a foundation for sustainable growth. And for me, that means like efficient inventory isn't just knowing what's in the cooler or on the shelf; it's the system behind it, the foundation that lets me grow sustainably. Because if my inventory is organized, my production is predictable, my supplies are reliable, and my customers always get what they need. That's what real growth looks like. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Melissa.
Yes.
Before we have John go, I realized at the beginning we forgot to do introductions. So it's always good to just get a sense of like who else is in the room, but also, you know, for our speakers, I think it's good to know kind of who's in the room too. So I apologize, Melissa, that I didn't go through.
No, that's okay.
So I'm thinking today we'll just kind of give your name and your business, and then what's a product that's always in stock at your house. So I'm Dan with the Chamber, and right now at our house we always have diapers in stock. We've got an 11-month-old. So I'll let you go, John.
Oh man, I'm recently out of diapers, thankfully. I'd have to say, my name's John, Ashville General, and snacks. It's snacks, it's cheese sticks.
I'm Melissa Baideme again with CK Natural Fruit Juice, and we always have grape juice in our house.
We'll just go table by
It's
table.
like coffee.
I'm Bob Lingle with the Chamber, but I also own Good Neighbor Bookstore, so we always have books in stock at our house. Way too many, overstocked.
Overstocked.
I'm Nicole with the Chamber. I also own Country Charm Boutique, and we actually always have water bottles in the whole house.
I'm Lauren Edwards, one of the co-owners of Art Cloth and Craft, and we always have probably cat food at our house. We got a lot of cats. 6 cats.
Hi, I'm Sam Wasman. I'm with the Reg Learning Center for the Arts, and we always have dog food in stock. I'm Stephanie Moynihan with the Reg Learning Center for the Arts as well, and we always have paper towels on hand because you need them for everything.
I'm Bobby Sparrow, the other co-owner of Art Cloth and Craft, and we always have peanut butter because my dogs love peanut butter.
Hi, I'm Heidi Woodard. I'm from the SBDC. I'm an administrative assistant. I will say I always have toys, little Matchbox cars, because my kids have to go to the dollar store all the time and get them.
I'm Kayla Crosby, the Executive Director of Integrity First, a nonprofit that owns the Jackals professional men's basketball team, and I always have basketballs.
Hi, I'm Tricia Kinney. I'm with Hanson Sign Company. We build signs. I always have aluminum sheeting on hand.
My name is Christopher Sadariaga. I'm the owner of Uptown Kicks, and we always have sneakers in store.
Hey, I'm Stanzi Grady with the Chamber, but I also own Stanztastic Art. I will say I have paint supplies and cat food. It's always in stock.
All right, cool. Is everybody good to run through John's, and then we can open up the conversation, if that works? All right.
Yeah, is it gonna mess things up if I stand?
No. Do you
Oh,
want
no.
to stand there?
Yeah, that's all right.
I did just move it to not have that.
Hi, everybody. My name is John. I am at the Ashville General Store, and I have a coffee company up in Buffalo. A little bit of consulting and all over the place, but these days settling into the Ashville General and trying to get my wits about me there. How's everybody doing? All right. Who's actually excited to talk about inventory?
It may have been my idea to have this.
Like, I'm glad Melissa went first, right?
Like genuinely excited, or just because you have to? How many years have you guys been open?
We were coming up on 8 years having the store.
So you got a good amount of data. How long have you guys been going?
5.
5?
2.
2?
20 plus.
40 plus? All right, you're next up here. Sorry, notes. So the reality of inventory, just like you said, is that it's your cash tied up on the shelves, right? So trying to have the right amount, the right time, not too much, not too little. You want to leave sales on the table, but too much and all of a sudden you can't do things that you want to do next month. So it's a constant tension and balance. The right things at the right time. That way you're not leaving money on the table. Sorry, it's been a little bit since I did this. I'm shaking my comments out. Appreciate you guys. I like to think about it as like a rhythm, a loop, however you want to consider it. Everyone is doing some version of this, whether or not you've got it on paper, it's ironed out, or this is happening to you. Either way, like it's happening. It's either a rhythm that is fun and gives you a sense of calm and predictability, or it's like a song that nobody wants to dance to. And you're running around for products and out of this, or oh crap, I left this in the warehouse, or chaos. And then it runs your labor up. Things don't hit the shelves when they need to. You got upset customers, upset clients. I like to think about it in terms of a rhythm, because once it gets going, just like a train, then things get efficient. You got predictable money, predictable profits. You know what you're going to spend. You can do a little bit better job of forecasting, especially going into the holiday season, because a lot of us are going to load up on inventory, and you know you're taking bets, right? So out of that, I always say it's best to start simply. If you have no system, or if you have a really complex system, know your top and your bottom. I would say ruthlessly fire your bottom sellers as much as you can, and then with your top 5 to 10 items, you can do some things like getting efficiency. You can look at volume discounts, where your price breaks are. Good example, I know that if I get 2 cases of eggs at the store, it's going to be, you know, 3 something a case or a dozen. If I get 10 cases of eggs, they go down to 2 something. So if I know how many eggs I'm going to go through for the next couple of weeks, and I have the space to put it in, then it's worth it to know, okay, I'm going to take that bet. And as you all know, eggs went crazy for about 4 or 5 months there. So knowing my numbers, I was able to buy when they were going up, not buy anything while they were at their highest, And then really we sold off some of our capacity when they were at their highest, and then kind of drove our cost of goods down. So for a while there, if you got breakfast at the Ashville General, I was paying almost nothing for eggs because we bought low, sold off part of our stock, and then once they came back down, business as usual, right back to usage. But knowing what we go through and knowing what we can afford to take a bet on really saved us from losing money during the whole stretch. It's the case for knowing your numbers. Consistency, good habits, good routines will beat any complex, sophisticated system. I like to think about it as like, it's habits, it's what you do week in, month in, and out, and scale the software, as complex, because it can get as complex as you want it to or need it to. We could literally talk about inventory for about 10 hours. I don't think I have the stamina, I will try, but I think it's best to keep it simple, work from first principles. These are the things we use regularly, these are the things that aren't moving, this is where we keep it, and then you can build from there. Consistency will be a sophisticated system that you only do half the time, all the time. Going into the holiday season, this, if you're a retailer especially, is when I start to think about, what do I have on the shelves that's been sitting there for 6 months? What can I do to either bundle that, put it to marketing, donate it, get it, clear it out? Because we all know what happens in the middle of January around here. It gets real hard. And it's better to have a little bit lighter shelves and more cash in the bank going into the winter at any given time. And if you have the opportunity, then it might be worth thinking about things that have been sitting around. You can giveaways, turn it into your marketing budget, and you can put it through a different way. Or donating timely during the holidays. It's when people are out looking for stuff, so like make the most of what you have on the shelf. So if it's not gonna sell and make you money, moving on, get it off your books and make some room if you can afford to.
John, sorry to interrupt, but I don't know if this is too granular. When you say that, like, donate it, turn it into marketing as a giveaway, like, is there an accounting side to that too? Like, what do you do when, what's the proper way to do that?
The reality is a lot of us aren't going to donate enough to get over the standard deduction because it's surprisingly high threshold to get past, even if you're at 10. I don't know off the top of my head what the threshold is, but I know that we do a lot of gift certificates and donate a lot of stuff, and we never get close. So the one thing that you could do is you could mark it out as donation at your full retail cost. But you're gonna have to, it's just more paperwork, and I don't know that it's worth the monkeying around with it. It is worth getting it out of because you're spending labor counting it, moving it. It's tying up space and time and mental capacity, really. So I don't know how worth it is to depreciate it out or cost it out as part of your marketing budget, but if you have a good enough accountant, I have no doubt that they could help you put it on your books at full retail cost versus what you spent it.
I was able to donate and then do a write-off last year, but it was a pretty high numbers.
Yeah.
It's like 7 to 10 grand I donated in product. Yeah.
Did it?
I
get you
write
over the
off.
standard deduction?
Yeah, I did. I was able to.
I gotta talk to my accountant.
Come to my accountant.
Yeah, there you go.
Make it the card. So, we can talk year-end strategies. I wanted to kind of keep it broad because the value of a lot of this is in the discussion. So, in your specific context, if you want to talk that through. So,
Just to
that's mine.
hop onto that, I am my accountant because we're small. And for like all of the donation requests and like the gift baskets and things that we put together, I just keep track of, like, I put it out as receipts, I put, like, do the payment as donation and put that on the marketing line for our taxes.
Yeah.
And so far, no one's told me that.
Yeah, that's what,
At full
Yeah.
retail, right? So like
Yeah.
that's the,
Yeah.
that'd be the one tip, trick, you know?
Mhm.
You could do the same if you, like we do order t-shirts, but half of what we're doing is ordering them for the staff. So I do the retail cost when I put it on the books for the
Mhm.
staff, not the cost I spent it on.
Mhm.
The pushback I got was you have to remove then the like, cause you're getting double accounting entries. Because I bought the shirts in the first place and then I marked them out of my system when we gave them to the team. So I got some pushback, like we should take out the amount. So just do the difference in that amount. But how complex do you wanna get? It's just like anything else. Like I think it's better to keep it simple but repeatable. And at the end of the day, I'm in a new transition, so I'm avoiding audits like the plague. So,
So you're not trying to add extra lines to your.
no, in a couple of years when I'm in a more like defensible, not that we're doing anything wrong, but like just, it's a high, it just increases your likelihood of getting an audit in your first couple of years, so, I'm trying to toe the line.
Mhm.
We, in theory, we donate enough to get over the standard deduction, so that's definitely, that's my takeaway. I'm gonna find, figure that out.
I kind of had some questions if anyone here has any answers. Like you said, you put that in marketing,
Mhm.
because of course we get asked for baskets, all that kind of stuff too. But also, there's a certain point where clothing has a shelf life too, where it's just like the same people have seen it so many times,
Mhm.
and that's just like what we can't just have it on the sale rack forever. So if anyone has any good suggestion, like should we just discount that out at, or not discount it out, but like donate that at full retail and put that on our line sheet under marketing donation? I don't know, like that's something we struggle with that we can't find a really great answer to. So if anyone has any.
I mean, I literally donated probably close to 10 grand last year to charities. And it was all food products and I didn't have any, I mean, my accountant did it and they didn't have any questions and they're a legit CPA firm,
Yeah.
so.
So just like do a receipt.
I can ask them what line they put it under, but they said anything you do is a write-off, like anything you give away, you can write it off.
Yeah.
Because it's product or whatever you've done to give away.
Mhm.
So, and I mean, I've had a few customers stand me up, luckily I won't ship large orders or whatever and have that problem, it's been a few small people, but it's added up over time, of probably $1,200 I've lost in product from people not paying me so far, so that's not bad in 4 years, considering like what I'm doing for my business, but I'm like, still, it's $1,200, like, come on, people, pay me.
For clothing, what are your options in terms of like returnable accounts? Like, are you able to return clothing to your vendors?
Yeah,
Okay.
for most of them, no.
Okay.
Like there might be a couple, but the thing is that the window's pretty tight, so if we were in kind of like a bigger city and if we ordered more and more mass, it would be one thing, but with how we order and what our quantities are, so.
Well, probably about that time too is probably when the company itself would start marking things down if they had
Yeah,
it.
but
So
either
that-
way, they won't take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so things that have been helping is we've been, as soon as something is out of season, marking down rather than kind of waiting, even if it's still totally wearable. It's like not, because everyone buys ahead for decorations or clothing, that kind of thing, rather than like immediate need like food. For us, we kind of have to forecast what people are going to be wanting for their extra stuff. So that's one thing that has been helping, but still it's like, we have a few things like on that. So we donate a lot of stuff, this summer, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. So
Well, I saw something that kind of sticks in my head where it's like, if they didn't want to buy it in January, they're not going to want to buy it in October. So it's like, try to get it out in January, like a tank top, it's like, if they didn't buy the tank top then, like, they're definitely not going to want it. So it's like, how can you avoid that or like get it out in the right time where it's like, you know, like where you just have to keep discounting and finding later.
How do you guys think about your seasons, or do you have a calendar that you kind of worked out, or is it like intuition?
We're a hot mess. I mean, it's so hard because it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
So I know how this all works from my background. You're usually working like we should have already been buying spring and almost into summer, and we haven't even started. So that goes back to forecasting, everything like that. And we do want to do that. I know to do all that stuff and open to buys and all that stuff, but to actually do it and get that together when we're still running through what we have to run through. It's really hard. And this economy right now too, it's like, I don't know what the heck people wanna buy. You know, like what are people gonna wanna do for Christmas? I don't know, cause like I feel like ever since things have been back and forth and tariffs, everything, it's been really, like people's buying habits have changed a lot, so we kinda have to be more reactive, like just because otherwise we're gonna buy things that usually work, like we used to sell expensive pajamas because it's a specialty thing, specialty gift, and we're not buying $100 pajamas right now. You know, like who's gonna spend money on that around here, you know? So it's just a lot more research and it's a lot harder.
A lot more things to pivot.
And it's tough with stock that's hanging around because you wouldn't have bought it in the first place if you didn't think it was a good product, right? So like,
Yeah.
Making the decision to either mark it down or donate in itself can be really hard.
Yeah.
Like I like it, so come on, people.
Yeah.
Get it together. But I am an advocate for aggressively marking it down and getting it out of there in season, because like you said, the next season it's probably not going to go. And then sitting on your shelf, like how much value is each section in your retail space, because there's always limited space or things you could do with it. If you have staple products, then sometimes it makes sense to store it and then carry it back in that season again.
There are certain things we'll do like that people are expecting for the next season, and that works out, so we do that some.
Definitely the case for knowing your top 5 or 10 products and what's moving around. And even then, though, sometimes, like if I've got a ton of pickles going into this time of year, like after the holidays, like I'm not gonna sell a ton of like the weird pickle retail stuff. Like, so I'm gonna turn it into relish, or I'm gonna do anything I can to get it out now, because something's better than nothing when you're gonna shelf it and then donate it or give it away later.
So just to, I'm sorry, I can't see behind me if anybody, obviously just it's conversation. But that's an interesting premise to me, and I'm not like a business owner having to manage inventory, right? But like as just a person at home, I would assume, or you'd think like, well, just store it and bring it out next summer or whatever, right? But it sounds like you're making the case that, you know, sort of your time, your storage space, right? Like you said, like, okay, just by having it on hand, how many times are you having to touch it and spend time on it?
Well, not just
versus
our time, but I mean, the reality of it is it costs you at least $20 an hour to staff in any given situation in New York. So it adds up quick when it's somebody else's time. If they're moving it, you got to go get it from storage, bring it back from storage. At that point, you would have to mark that item that didn't sell that season up to a certain amount to recoup all that labor cost. So it hurts, but rather than spend too much time like thinking about some cost fallacies, just mark it down, get it out of there. As long as you can like metabolize the cost of it. Sometimes we take bets that we can't, and then at that point, like, go hustle, move it somewhere, go to Cleveland, you know, like somebody will buy it.
Yeah, that's the hard part, like with the retail stuff, like what I do is I bottle as orders come in, so I don't ever have a lot on hand. And I try to do that because of those reasons. I mean, what am I gonna do? It's gonna start running out, and then you gotta mark it down, and then you're losing money. So I'm worried about scaling up, because I'm doing a lot more products, but I wanna make sure I have a market for all of it. I don't want it just sitting around. It's a lot of money you're just sitting on.
Yeah, and at that rate, I start to talk to people about usage models and what an appropriate amount of safety stock is for your flow through. So,
Yeah.
I made a little worksheet if you guys don't know your order cycles and if you want something simple to like kind of work through that. Knowing what your timetables are, then you can kind of put some math to it and make your income and spend match a little bit closer to what you're thinking sales are gonna be.
Can I ask what
Sorry,
inventory
that's very
system you use?
Right now, I'm in Google Sheets, but I'm kind of started
For the
from the
general,
ground
too?
up, for the general. And the coffee business, I have 5 products that we sell, and they're all rooted off the same coffee. So my cost of goods is pretty simple and streamlined. We carry 6 things. We just change the way we do it.
Does anyone use a program that they recommend or?
We use, it's called Square Coil, is what we use. It tracks your inventory, it tracks your purchase orders. You do purchasing in it. I have QuickBooks linked to it.
Oh, wow.
When my customer pays me, it's all documented right there.
That's smart.
I can send out spreadsheets. I have 5 people in it right now.
Oh, wow.
That, we're going on 1 year of doing it, so, and it's been working for us.
I'll have to look into that. 'Cause right now we just had like Excel sheets with all labeled for certain inventory things and we just.
That clogs your computer up.
Yeah, well, I print them off and I save the sheets,
Yeah.
but I'm just like, it's a pain, you're
It
doing
seems
everything.
cumbersome.
Yeah, it is.
Microsoft has a program called D365,
Oh,
and you basically work with a technician to build it out for you. I used to work for a furniture manufacturer,
Okay.
and we switched to that system from an ancient one from the 90s that looked like you were like
oh, nice.
coding on a computer,
Yeah.
and it can do inventory, purchase order management, invoicing, like from giant warehouse size down to small
Is it
business.
like part of Microsoft 365? Because I have Microsoft 365.
I believe it's like an add-on to it, so I would look into that, but it's really simple because it is Microsoft and so many people use it, but you can export to Excel, import to from Excel,
Okay.
all sorts of different things.
Okay.
So it was a really easy transition once we got it to work how we needed it to enter orders and report everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What was that one called again?
Microsoft D365.
365, and then that was Square Coil?
Yeah.
I feel like there's probably hundreds of options.
I just don't know where to look. I mean, I know where to look, but I just don't know what to mean, like what other people use. I haven't talked to
There's so many
anyone.
options that you don't know when.
Yeah, yeah, that's the other thing. So I like
How many
asking.
you're gonna try to.
Yeah, it's really good to start with need though. Just what do you do and then what would you like to do and what programs
Yeah.
support that. So trials, and, I always use a calendar app on my phone. I'm like, which one's going to give me everything that I need? But I'm doing it for free because it's just my personal calendar. I'm using my calendar that comes with my phone. All the other ones that have these options, they don't do what I need, so I just go to the basic one for free. So if it is like the suite is included,
Yeah.
or the program is included in the suite, you might as well
Might be.
run with it.
Yeah.
So I use Current Numbers. It's an Apple application, but I had just got turned on to someone that said it's an app called Page 44, and it is it's AI integrated. And so what it will do for what I'm learning, because I'm just learning the steps of it, is that it will track the inventory. It will tell you the analytics of like what's your best selling product. It will also track your best selling product, where your inventory is at, in the sense of like the quantity of it. It gets very in depth. I would say that it's something that would benefit anybody's business. The AI can be as complex as you need it to be. And then the other feature that it offers is that you can manually type it in, so you can run systems and you can speak to the AI itself to update the product. And then with this application as well, it's in the form of a website, but it's easy to download, so it becomes your own business app. And you can, I think it's the APL, you can copy that from different platforms like your websites or things of that nature. You can drop it into that AI, and the AI will study the URL that you gave it, and then be able to give you analytics on that as well. So currently I have a website that I don't track well. And it's supposed to be integrated with what's in store and your digital together and be able to differentiate between the analysis to just to study it so you have a different perspective.
It's like an AI web app builder,
Yes.
right? Yeah, so you can make, I would say, that was my plan, is to make a custom tool for the Ashville General, because there's 3,000 SKUs and from restaurant to it's just a lot going on. Know when you get into it, the better you can simply and clearly describe the activities that you're doing in real life, it will build you a better tool in an outcome. Yeah, so it's like, it's a large language model coding app, so you can go and describe that this is what I want to do, and it'll basically build you a version of these hub apps, but specific to your business. So if you get the time and the drive to get through learning the tools, it's probably worth looking into. I'm sure you can go to Fiverr and get someone to do it for $25 to get through.
I have the benefit for the independent bookstore industry that it's a good balance where, because we all kind of collectively work together and share information, that it's almost like working for a corporation, but being able to do whatever the hell I want at the store level. So for our data, like I just use Square for our register. With that information, I have feed into a site called Edelweiss, which all of the publishers use, all of my catalogs go in there. So it feeds off of my sales information along with everybody else's, so people can, I can look and see like if my historical fiction section is low, what is selling well in different stores when I'm doing my orders, which I do seasonally. So right now, I have like 2 more publishers to go for my January to April orders. I can see what comparable sales titles have done well for us, but in terms of like in-store, what I have and like this seasonality of that, we have like $75,000 in inventory at any given time. It's going to be higher now, ramping up for the holiday season. As you had talked about, like kind of discounting. The only thing that I would say to that is the previous owners of the store kind of discounted themselves out of running the store. So I would just watch how much and how frequently you're discounting. I do 2 huge sales each year. If you ever see me do a 3rd one, you know we're not having a great year. So I do one at the end of August to capture the summer customers before they head off, knowing that September and October are not going to be great months for us. And then I do one at the very end of the year, just to try to clear out inventory for tax purposes. So it helps with our cost of goods sold numbers. But I was the only one who, I think, the only one who raised their hand that they were excited to talk about it. So I can chat about this for a while, but whatever, the more data that you have to work with, the better. Another program that is specific to bookstores, but just speaks to knowing, like, if you have terms with your vendors, like 30, 60, or 90 days, if you're buying and bringing in products that you don't have to pay that bill for a while. If I have stock that's been sitting on my shelves for 3 months or longer, I start to work on returns in that cycle now to clear up things as we're stocking up for the holiday season. But there's a program called Batch that once Simon & Schuster and Hachette get their stuff together, all of my major vendors will be in that system. So all of my invoices, all of my credit memos feed right into that. So I can look at that one website and be like, oh, I owe Simon & Schuster $4,000 next month. Time to do a Simon & Schuster return. Or start selling a whole bunch of stuff.
It is a beautiful thing when you find a good one. Like if you like the app that you're working with,
Yeah.
and your team reuses it well, like whatever you and your crew are going to use is what's going to work. So, but when it all started to click, oh my God, this is worth all the math I did.
And it took me about 5 years to get to where I'm at now with all of the tools that I'm able to utilize and having the account set up with all of the different publishers to have been able to function this way for the last almost 3 years. And it's a learning process.
Has it helped the sales knowing when you're having a good idea of what your sales is like and
Yeah.
you have a pretty well defined cadence, it sounds like.
It is significant, and it's changed, like the store has completely changed from when I bought it, where it used to be like pretty much 50-50 mix of new and used books. I noticed that most of the used books have been sitting there since I bought the store, so I donated all of our used inventory to the Lakewood Library. So now we're only new, and it's helped for the holiday season significantly that I don't have to only have half of my shelf space to stock new books. I can have all of that, because there was 3 or 4 years where I was panic buying every week during the holiday season. Like, it was usually historical fiction. I'm like, "God, it's empty. I don't have anything left to show." But let's quickly get those things back in there. But it has really helped to be able to have that data from other stores to look at. Like, one of the biggest changes is we didn't have a romance section in the store, and now it is our biggest seller and has completely taken over a good chunk of the store, to the point that we have subcategories of it. And that was kind of an industry initiative to remove the stigma that it's okay to buy and stock romance books in the store.
A lot more comfortable now when I go looking through them.
Yeah. I won't judge too much.
I can listen to them.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask too, with like, so bookstore clothing and boutique type store, your demographic's a lot different from manufacturing juices and selling foods and coffee. How, like, for them, managing that demographic for what you're stocking, because you're trying to forecast based on what people might want, based on style, new book trends, things, whereas you're trying to forecast based on what are people eating.
Yeah.
Because I know previously forecasting is something we struggled with. 2020 and 21 were really good years of the company I worked for, and then they based all of the sales off of that, but we were selling discs. Everyone was working from home. So then trying to forecast after that, the inventory, that's why I'm not excited to talk about it. It doesn't look like I don't have to do too much now, but the inventory was an issue until I left the company earlier this year. So how do you manage that when it's something that isn't a good that's going to automatically need sold? People want to buy natural juices, people have to eat. They need clothes, they want books, but it's not necessarily a necessity. It's not in the hierarchy of needs.
For us on our end, it's pretty much like people always want gifts and we need to buy gifts. So for us, just trying to stock some of the products or lines that we know people are always going to look for, and make sure we've got stock of that. But then also keeping enough newness so people are excited to see what's new, because otherwise we will have the same repeat customers that it's just going to get old and boring. That's also a reason why we move stuff around a lot. There are a lot of times people are like, oh, they kind of want to be like, oh, when did you get this? Like, 2 months, like, okay, just let me know. But it's just maybe you're not looking at that day, or just the placement. So we move, we do product placement a lot. But it's, I think for us, more the balance of like hard goods versus clothing, and seeing how that's changed over the years, and because that's changed a lot for us. So that's something we're trying to get better at. We use Shopify, and I have so many issues with Shopify. It's just too big. It's too much. We keep on adding new things, changing things, and like for someone who has limited time, not like I know what reports I want. I know how to pull these things anymore. I don't know. So it's like I'm either gonna have to reach out to someone like a Shopify specialist or Fiverr or whatever it is, because you used to be able to call and get what you need and talk, and now it's all, because they've grown so much. So it's like long conversations with AI and then they'll finally get you to someone, so they have so many apps and things, I know they have like a QuickBooks app and stuff like that, but or plugins or kind of apps that you can add on that I'm interested in looking at. But like to your point about like, you know, which do you go with? I don't want to download 5 different things, try to look at it for 3 days on it.
And then try to figure out one, you just like, figure out another one.
Does it work for me? You know, like, you know what I mean? So I think I would love someone who really knows Shopify, you know, like, you know.
That's all we're at basics, just the paper.
Yeah, honestly, that, like, because top selling things, like, I can look up some things that are like easier, but there's a lot of stuff that should be easy if you're looking at a spreadsheet, that it's just, it's only gonna go to this, right? Like,
I think we're also at that age, we're all middle-aged, where we like handwriting things down, we want to keep up with times, and I'll have my computer and I'll forget to use it, where do I use it for that? Like, you gotta start thinking younger, so.
In terms of forecasting, one thing that I can relate to with Melissa is the relationship that you have with the people that you're buying from. I have sales reps with each major publisher that I work with, and I'll see in the catalogs that it's helpful to hear directly from them of, like, not even so much like bestsellers, but like what is going to get the huge marketing budget. So there's folks that like I'm not excited about, and I wouldn't bring in otherwise. I'm like, oh, they're printing 1 million copies of this book, and they're going to shove it down everybody's throat. I should probably have it. I should probably have it on our shelves.
So going with the trends versus going with what you know.
yeah,
That is what we
it's
really
kind
need
of
to
both.
get.
You have to do both, but you have to like use, like from, we have to make sure we have this amount of things, this amount of things, and I'm more, and she's really great about, and she enjoys it, which I hate, so it works out, but she, you know, is always looking at Instagram and always doing that kind of stuff and seeing kind of what's trending, but how are we using it for us and still having our voice, because if we are just going after whatever's trending, then we won't have a brand.
Right, well, reaching the people that we have here, because, I mean, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, I'm not following all those trends, there's certain things I like, but it's like so many different pockets of demographics, especially in a community like Jamestown, Lakewood, you know, Chicago, and Denver, that you have to be able to kind of reach all of them, and that's a fine line. I balance. Do you do the grocery store member thing where you put all of your staples at the back so people have to walk by all the new stuff?
Oh, no, we're just,
That's what I every time it gets me, I'm like, I'm walking
well,
into the
clothing,
store.
I guess, because, yeah, a lot of people come in, like, every week to see this new for clothing, so come in.
They can go through everything and have big signs.
COVID was tough though too, I mean, it's such a mix of shelf life, that oftentimes I think about the food because it's a lot more like urgent. But all the data I had when I got to the store was from COVID numbers. We had record sales during that time, what else was going on, our money in the economy. So if I was gonna sit down and go off of what they were doing, I would have not made it through that first February because I would have spent way too much money. Thinking I need all this stuff, but if you think back when I had the numbers from, there was nothing else going on. So they were just, people just ordering takeout and it was good.
I live around the corner, so it was fine. I'm sorry.
But any good model, to your point, the more you know your data, even though sometimes it's tedious and it's less than you want to do, should pull from historic numbers and what you've been doing the last whatever your cycle. So we have in weeks and months. Season might be more like 5-6 weeks or quarterly, depending on how you approach it. I think it was New York, there's 7 seasons. I'm happy to give that calendar out. Well, you can't do that for retail. So I kind of try to roll in cadence of that. I don't have as long of a sales cycle and anything in my store, probably. So I'm getting out of it. You know, so because I'm fighting for shelf space. Every inch that I can give the consigners, especially on that side of the business, we're going to make use of it. really better off for that, so. Which is a totally different problem.
I have a question. Do you, like, what are your paths and like, how often do you pick it up? Okay. How do you keep track of that? Like, how do you?
So
Because it's a lot harder.
it's more management, and it's kind of complex. But when they bring items in, I standardize a sheet that they have to put it, so they have their own codes. Well, like if you go to Wegmans, you have to have your stuff in line like a couple months before, and they're going to send you the codes to you to buy your product. We handwrite because it's hard to print stuff and using it. But other items have a list of codes, so the cashiers can just type it in and bring it up quickly. And then monthly, we pull a report from our POS system, and you just have to be diligent about what the cost of the item is, because then you pull the report, you know what they're going to get, what we're going to get. So
we can chime in on that a little bit, because we have consignor to ours, so if you look at our item numbers, the first 3 numbers, they each get assigned a number.
Yeah,
And then at the end of the month, we just print the reports, and we have, like, our agreement is we have up until the 10th of the month to cut checks. And then they just get a percentage. And actually, we prefer to bring us more inventory every month than we just get more checks, but.
Because of the complexity, we just mail them out, go to bill pay it and get it. It's usually 4 or 5 days later. But we do the third Thursday of every month. And at this point, we've got it down. It takes about an hour and a half to like pull through the whole product. We probably have 25 or so consignments right now. We'll bulk that up a little bit next month going into the holiday season. And then people naturally kind of fall off into the spring. So.
We have 45. So it's but I think the hardest part is probably in Shopify, because I have to look, I type in their name, and then I have to look at each order. So I can't like put, there's no dollar amount. Like I can't get a dollar amount.
You use Shopify's POS too. Yeah.
So, I mean, I can CSV whatever for Excel, but it doesn't like help me really, because I don't know, it's just kind of more complex. Like, I don't know if it would be quicker.
Does it have like you can see the cost, your cost?
Oh, I have all the costs, so I know exactly, like that part's easy, as long as I know the item sold. But I have to look at every order that their name appears on, like, so if I have like our sweater lady, I'll type her name in, and then so every order will pop up of sales for her. So I switched to quarterly because there's no way I can do that every month.
Can you tag groups of items or categorize them so that the report is easier to deal with?
I just think it's probably something we'll have to work out with Shopify again. That's why it's like all these weird things, because it's like they have so much data analytics and everything already built in, but the things that I need it for, it's like not really. So I don't know. It's like everything has style numbers. Some things also have barcodes. So like we have it all documented, and I just give them a sheet that I have them fill out in Google Sheets. So it's like already done, and if they don't put style numbers, I put them in. So like that part it's all easy, and then I put it into our POS system, so it has the cost reported and everything. But it's just pulling those, like, to get each person's receipt right and what's on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love taking.
I will take any and all out.
Yeah. You're just in the elevator. Yeah. You're just the elevator.
So as far as we talked about like year-end inventory, I guess I have heard some different concepts, and I want to know what either accountants or you guys think is a good idea. is it better to buy in and use that money, like having money spent into product and is it better to clear out your inventory and you know, have slim inventory going into the new year at the end of the year? Or is it better to kind of buy in and have that in your inventory, like buy in ahead of time for spring, you know what I mean?
Well, for my business, like, I guess it is to be for any business, I always will have extra inventory, it's just a tax write-off. It'll go towards, like, let's say you made $100,000, you had $20,000 worth of inventory, it's gonna go towards that, like, you paid for that, so now you're back down, showing less income.
Yeah.
So, if you have that, that's great, then you don't have to spend it next year, but you wanna make sure you don't spend it next year, then you'll be at the 100,000. You know what I mean, then the next year, if you don't have any inventory going to the next year, you don't have a tax write-off.
So pretty much just, if you're consuming every year,
If
it's
it's a
fine.
revolving door, it's just a tax write-off. Yeah.
My cycle is, if I know that I have made a lot of profit that year, I will try to find something to, do we need a new computer?
Yeah.
So I can have that
Yeah,
as
you
expense.
want to have as much of a write-off.
But for cost of goods sold, I will try, and this is what I do each year, so if you want to have that each year, of just reducing my inventory as much as I can, so like, that's why now I'm pushing out inventory that's been sitting around for 3+ months, and then I do a huge sale at the end of the year to reduce that inventory, so the cost of goods sold for tax purposes looks better. So it's kind of a mix of both. So I have a lot of profits, how can I reduce that as an expense, and making sure your cost of goods sold is balanced.
And I think it also depends on your business. Like for me, let's say I need 5,000 gallons, but I use 4,000 one month. I don't have to pay for that extra 1,000. I can carry it over to the next month. It's not going to spoil. You guys have something that's more of a niche. Like if you don't sell it, is it going to sell it next year? It's not. Like you're those are the different products. So.
There's layers to it, the way I think about it. So if I'm sitting on a good amount of cash, which how often does that happen? But I'm not trying to fix a roof or something. Fortunately, this year that is our situation, so I'm gonna build up to drive down my live report for income. So thinking about winter and spring, buying what I can buy ahead, as long as I have something to put. But I don't want to move it 3 times. If I can move it 3 times, it's not worth it. Then I mean, just wait and keep the cash. That being said, if you know, so like January, February, March, you probably start to pull out of the lean season sometime in April, and then May, it'll start to kick off. So know what you need to do, like, know what you need to have on hand to get through the lean stretch, and then everything above and beyond that is what I would feel comfortable making about, because you're buying it far out. So if I know, okay, I have $5,000 above and beyond, well, I know I need to have in the bank to cover my bills without anything coming in, then I'll take the leverage, just that amount. But I really only buy ahead if I'm going to show a huge profit. Otherwise, I'm closer to real time.
And just everyone do inventory at the end of the year, like do you do a full inventory check?
I usually do it every month, every week or every month. So sometimes we'll do it weekly. We have so many orders coming in, and these are not like the other, not totally change subjects, but another thing to look into is a self-employed 401k. It's another really good write-off, so I have a plan for it. What a game changer it's going to make when you retire. It's great